Welcome again to our series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. This subject, Haste, was sent to me by a devotee. And here his mother's reply. In peace and silence, the eternal manifests. Allow nothing to disturb you, and the eternal will manifest. Have perfect equality in face of all, and the eternal will be there. Yes, we should not put too much intensity, too much effort into our seeking for Thee. The effort and intensity become a veil in front of Thee. We must not desire to see Thee, for that is still a mental agitation which obscures Thy eternal presence. It is in the most complete peace, serenity, and equality that all is Thou, even as Thou art all. And the least vibration in this perfectly pure and calm atmosphere is an obstacle to Thy manifestation. No haste, no inquietude, no tension. Thou, nothing but Thou, without any analysis or any objectivizing. And Thou art then, without a possible doubt, for all becomes a holy peace and a sacred silence. And that is better than all the meditations in the world. I see more and more that all impatient revolt, all haste would be useless. Everything is slowly organized so that I may serve Thee as I should. What is my place in this service? For a long time, I have stopped asking myself this. What does it matter? Is it necessary to know whether one is at the center or on the circumference? Provided that, entirely consecrated to Thee, living only for Thee and by Thee, I carry out better and better the task Thou givest me. All the rest has no importance at all. I would say more. Provided Thy work is accomplished in the world, as well and as completely as it can be, does it matter which individual or group realizes this work? O my sweet Master, in peace, serenity, equanimity, I give myself to Thee and merge in Thee, my thought calm and tranquil, my heart smiling. Thy work will be done, I know, and Thy victory is certain. O my sweet Master, grant to all the sovereign boon of Thy illumination. Yesterday, someone was complaining of rheumatic pains in his back and said to me, "Oh, it makes me waste so much time. I do things so slowly. I said to him, Mother laughs, so what? He wasn't happy. You understand, to complain if you have pain means you're soft. That's all. But to say, I'm wasting so much time, I do things so slowly, was the very clear picture of that haste in which people live. They hurtle through life. Where to? To end up in a crash. I am now studying the way in which matter, the body, can be in constant harmony with the divine presence. And it's so interesting. It's not at all an opposition. It is a tiny little microscopic distortion. For instance, there is this frequent experience, parentheses, and generally people don't know why it is so. Now I know, end parentheses. On some days, or at certain times, all the gestures you make are harmonious. All the things you touch seem to respond harmoniously to the will that touches them. Everything works out. Parentheses. I am talking about the very small things of life, of everyday life, end parentheses. Each thing seems to be in its place, or to find its place naturally. If you fold a paper, it folds itself as though spontaneously, as it should. If you look for something, you seem to spontaneously find the thing you need. You never knock against anything, never upset anything. Everything seems harmonious. And then, without any appreciable difference in the overall state of consciousness, at other times, it's the exact opposite. If you want to fold a paper, you fold it the wrong way. If you want to touch some object, you drop it. Everything seems disharmonized, or off balance, or bad-willed. You are yourself more or less in the same state. But now, with the present keen and fine observation, I see that in one case there is a sort of inner silence in the cells, a profound quietude, which doesn't prevent movement, even rapid movement. But the movement seems to be founded on an eternal vibration. And in the other case, there is that inner precipitation, gesture of tremor, that inner vibration, that inner restlessness, that haste to go from one moment to the next, that constant hurry. Why? There's no knowing why. Always, always hurrying and scurrying, and everything you do is wrong. And in the other case, with that inner serenity and peace, everything is done harmoniously and much faster in material time. There is no time lost. So we come back to this, that balance is indispensable. The way which carefully avoids the extreme opposites is indispensable. Too great a haste is to be avoided. Impatience prevents you from advancing. And at the same time, inertia puts heavy weights on your legs. Thus then, in all things, it is the middle way, as Buddha called it, that is the best. Each new dawn brings the possibility of a new progress. We move forward without haste, for we are sure of the future. I propose that we should simply do what is right and fair, without thinking too much of the future, leaving it to the care of the Divine's grace. Sri Aurobindo. It is certainly a mistake to bring down the light by force, to pull it down. The supramental cannot be taken by storm. When the time is ready, it will open of itself. But first, there is a great deal to be done, and that must be done patiently and without haste. That inward going is most desirable and necessary, and that change of vision also. I mean only that all should be done by a natural movement without haste. Our nature is not only mistaken in will and ignorant in knowledge, but weak in power. But the divine force is there and will lead us if we trust in it, and it will use our deficiencies and our powers for the divine purpose. If we fail in our immediate aim, it is because he has intended the failure. Often our failure or ill result is the right road to a truer issue than an immediate and complete success would have put in our reach. If we suffer, it is because something in us has to be prepared for a rarer possibility of delight. If we stumble, it is to learn in the end the secret of a more perfect walking. Let us not be in too furious a haste to acquire even peace, purity, and perfection. Peace must be ours, but not the peace of an empty or devastated nature, or of slain or mutilated capacities incapable of unrest because we have made them incapable of intensity and fire and force. Purity must be our aim, but not the purity of a void or of a bleak and rigid coldness. Perfection is demanded of us, but not the perfection that can exist only by confining its scope within narrow limits, or putting an arbitrary full stop to the ever self-extending scroll of the infinite. Our object is to change into the divine nature, but the divine nature is not a mental or moral, but a spiritual condition, difficult to achieve, difficult even to conceive by our intelligence. The master of our work and our yoga knows the thing to be done, and we must allow him to do it in us by his own means and in his own manner. Each one of us has 1,000,000 lives yet to fulfill upon earth. Why then this haste and clamor and impatience. Stride swiftly, for the goal is far. Rest not unduly, for thy Master is waiting for thee at the end of thy journey.